Last day really to get some practice before the check-in. We'll have some time in class tomorrow, but probably not a ton. All right, so one of the things we might have to do is a problem like this. Triangle ABC has vertices at those points. What is the length of line segment BC? Alexandra? 11 is correct. So all this is, if it asks for the length of a line segment BC is just looking at the distance between those 2 points. So we eliminate the match. That means we're going from -2 to +9. When the signs are different, we're adding the absolute values to find the distance. So like she said, that is going to give us 11. Okay? Could see something like that. Along those lines is where you get like the perimeter type problems. So with the perimeter problems, what you have is you got your 4 points. And what you need to remember or recognize is when you got your 4 points, if you need to find the length and the width on a rectangle, if I go length and I go width, they share a corner. So one of the points gets used twice. And it doesn't matter which length, which width I use. Either way, it's going to share at least a corner. It might be a different corner each time depending on how it's rearranged, but it's going to share a corner. So keep that in mind as you're working on it, like one of the points gets repeated. Let's go ahead and find the perimeter on this one. Zion? 16 is correct. So we got 4, -3, 4, -8. So there's a match there. I'm going to use 4, -8 again. And then I got 7, -8. So again, one of my points repeated. So we cross off our matches. One time I should cross off the X's, the other time I should be crossing off Y's. We don't want to cross off X's and X's. Signs are the same. When the signs are the same, you subtract the absolute values. So that's what we're doing on each of those. So we got 5 and 3. And then you got to remember for perimeter, you got to fill in, get all 4 sides. Drawing a picture sometimes helps to remember that. It's not absolutely necessary, but it is somewhat helpful. Any questions on the perimeter? For the most part, we've been doing pretty well with those. I haven't done triangles in the last couple days, but no reason you couldn't see a triangle. So find the area of the triangle. With the triangles, when they give you the points, they're not going to ask you for the perimeter, though. It'd just be area only. Jacob? 18 is correct. So you still got to find your matches. So for matching X's, I've got 5, 7, and 5, -2. Signs are different. Add absolute values, so that gives me a 9. Then for the matching Y values, I've got 1, -2. And the 5, -2. Again, one of those points is going to repeat. Because what you have for the triangles is, it might not always necessarily look like that exactly. It could be rotated. But you're going to have where if we got a point here, point here, point here, our base and the height are sharing the point, okay? So then from, oh, sorry, that should be +1. From 1 to 5, that's a distance of 4. And then to find the area, base times height divided by 2. So 9 times 4 is 36. 36 divided by 2, 18. Okay? Any questions on that? I said, for the most part, we've been doing very well with those, so hopefully that continues. Quadrants. No clue if quadrants will be on there or not, but could be. Gray, point A, what quadrant is it in? 2 is correct. So a couple things. When we got our quadrants, if you remember, they follow a C shape, right? We start at the top right with quadrant 1. We got quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. And when you see them, they're going to be as Roman numerals usually as your answer choices. Then what you also have, quadrant 1 is positive, positive. Quadrant 2 is negative, positive. So that's why this one was quadrant 2. The decimal part doesn't matter. It's the signs on them. Quadrant 3 is negative, negative. And quadrant 4 is positive, negative. If you remember which one's X, which one's Y, you know, X's to the right are positive, like we see right there. X's to the left are negative. Y's that go up are positive. Y's that go down are negative. Okay? Any questions on that one? Quadrants aren't hard, they're just stuff to remember. Connie reflected the point -7, 8 across the x-axis. In which quadrant is this point now located? Sydney? Quadrant 3. When you reflect, whatever axis you reflect over, in this case x, that number, the value there stays the same. The other one changes sign, so we'd have -7, -8. It asks for the quadrant. If you remember from the last one, negative, negative. That was quadrant 3, so it's in quadrant 3. Okay? All right, so sometimes you get ones that look like this. Y'all, I know a lot of you, like your initial reaction is, oh, this is too much reading. Usually they're not that tough if you take the time to read them though, okay? So this is asking you which one is a false statement. So A, we got quadrants 1 and 3, the x and y coordinates have both signs positive or both signs negative. That one's true. Remember when we got our quadrants, quadrant 1 is right and up, that's positive, positive. Quadrant 3 is left and down, that's negative, negative. So those would be the signs we have. B, we got quadrants 2 and 4, x and y coordinate have one positive, one negative. But you can see from my picture, B is true, so that's not the answer. C, quadrants 1 and 2, the x coordinates have a positive sign. Well, 1 is right here, 2 is right here. That's the one that is false then. Quadrants 3 and 4, y coordinates have a negative sign. 3 and 4, those do have negative signs. Okay? Anything about that like super difficult? No, other than the fact you had to read like 5 sentences total or something, right? So make sure you take the time on those. All right, for something a little different, need an equation here. At dinner, Sue bought an appetizer for $5.99. She also bought a pizza. Sue's total was $16.82 for the appetizer and the pizza. What equation can help find the price P of the pizza? Since it gives you Sue's total, I want your equation to have it equal to $16.82, okay? Anybody think they got it? Kyle?
P equals 10.82.
It's It's not asking for the price of the pizza. It's asking for an equation.
X plus 5.99.
That'll work. We want to use P though, since it said to use P. Gave us the variable there. So the pizza plus appetizer. Okay? Kyle was right. 1083 for the pizza, but it was asking for the equation, so we need that equation, okay? One of the ways you can always check the equations is if you can figure out the answer, you check to see which equation gives you that same answer. So that's a way that can work as well. So if you know the pizza costs $10.83, if you check your 4 answer choices, the one that's 1083 is going to be the correct answer. Okay? Any questions on that? You don't see each, every, per, so it's not multiplying, it's just finding a total of 2 items, add them up.